He was standing in the doorway when I said it. I hadn't noticed him at first. My voice was low, sharp, confessional only because I thought I was alone. I didn't mean for the words to slip out, but they came, unfiltered, bitter, and jagged. I never should have married him. Silence. The kind that gnaws at you. When I finally turned, his face was already set in stone. Not anger, not confusion, something colder, recognition. The look a man gives when the picture of his life has already shattered, and he's trying not to cut his hands on the glass. He didn't say a word. He didn't need to. The weight of his silence was enough. And in that instant, I knew, whatever I had thought I controlled was gone. He heard me. He understood. And nothing would ever be the same. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. The truth was never meant for him. Not directly. Not in that raw, unshaped form. But he knows now that I loved someone else before him, that I still might, that his place in my life was always second, always a compromise. I told myself I'd buried it, that the secret was stitched neatly under layers of routine, dinners, bills, and obligatory kisses. But grief has a way of slipping out through the seams. His brother. I didn't mean for it to be more than a moment, a mistake that turned into memory. But memory became weight, and weight became silence, and silence became distance. He could never see it, but he could feel it. And now, he knows enough. The way he looked at me told me everything. He doesn't want to ask questions. He doesn't want details. He wants distance. And yet, he will search. He will find. He will confirm. That's who he is. The house has been quieter since that night. He speaks less. He watches me in fragments, as if cataloging my movements. His phone is never far from him now. He has questions, unasked but heavy in the air. I stay calm, always calm. I delete messages. I avoid careless words. I smile when necessary, measured and precise. But I notice the small things, the way his jacket pocket bulges slightly more than it should, as if a folded document rests inside. The faint trace of cologne on him when he shouldn't have worn any. The late nights that end with him sitting in the car a little too long before coming inside. I know what he's doing. I would do the same. DNA, bank records, old emails, conversations replayed in his head, searching for cracks. He doesn't confront me. He doesn't rage. He is building a case in silence, and so am I. Because the truth is, his brother wasn't just a moment. He was the measure by which I compared my husband, every day, every hour. And if my husband is going to search, then he will find exactly what I decide to leave behind. Control isn't lost. Not yet. The envelope appeared on the kitchen counter 3 days later, unmarked, just there, waiting. Inside, photographs, emails, a copy of a message I once sent that left no room for denial. And beneath it all, the result of a test. Not DNA, something simpler. My internet history, printed in black and white. Searches I'd made about erasing messages, about confidentiality, about how long phone companies store records. Evidence of my fear, laid bare. He didn't speak when I found it. He just sat across from me, hands folded, eyes hollow. When I lifted the paper, he said one thing. How long? My lips curved, but not into a smile. Something colder. You already know, I said. The silence after was heavier than any scream could have been. That night, I packed a single bag, deliberate, unhurried. He followed me with his eyes, not his hands. He didn't ask me to stay. He didn't try to stop me. He was drowning, and I was the one who had tied the weights around his ankles. But as I zipped the bag closed, I left one last thing on the bed. A letter, written weeks ago when suspicion first began to bloom in him. A letter meant not for him, but for his brother, confessing, explaining, wanting. I placed it there deliberately, open, visible, undeniable. He read it before I left. I could tell by the way the door didn't slam behind me. He would never confront his brother, not directly. That was never his nature. Instead, he would carry that wound quietly, letting it hollow him out piece by piece. And I would be gone, untouchable. That was the only revenge that mattered. I didn't cry in the car. I didn't even look back at the house as it faded in the rearview mirror. Some truths destroy, but not all in the same direction. For him, it meant unraveling. For me, it meant freedom. I whispered those words once, when I thought I was alone. I never should have married him. Now, after everything, I realize how sharp they were, how accurate. The worst thing I ever said wasn't a mistake. It was the truth. And now, he finally knows it.